This week's episode of Hak5 is brought to you by the HP Media Smart Server powered by Microsoft Windows Home Server, GoDaddy, Netflix, and Brandy, the doll shredder.
Now version 2.0.
Hello and welcome to Hak5. This is your weekly dose of Technolist. I'm Darren.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Shannon.
And we have an awesome show for you guys tonight. We've got some interview with our friend J-Lo from Revision 3, the head honcho CEO, man.
Jim Lauterbach, or as we like to refer to him as J-Lo.
And now we're talking about all sorts of like new internet television stuff and whatnot. We were up at the ROFLcon in New York City this weekend. So if you're not familiar with it, go ahead and check out the ROFLcon.org, see what's going on there.
Yeah, there were a lot more people than I was anticipating going there.
That place was like mad sold out. And like a lot of internet people, like exactly like they said. There was Tron Guy, and there was the guys from You Should Suck at Photoshop.
Well, did you get your picture taken with Tron Guy?
No, I didn't. Did Shannon?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going up on the website.
All right, well, we're gonna have to do that.
Well, you said his suit was falling apart.
And I didn't say that. Who said that?
No.
Paul said that.
Paul said it.
Paul said that.
The camera, though.
All right. Well, apparently he needs money for his suit, and he has a plane. So
He has a plane?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I wish I had a plane.
I know you were very envious when I showed you the pictures.
Yeah, I am. I want to fly. I just doing Flight Sim X. Oh, they laid off the whole Flight Sim X team. Microsoft, how could you?
Yeah.
That's all right. I'm going to X-Plane.
The funny thing is, you and I watched a video on the making of the next flight simulator. Like, they were already working on it. They had huge boards full of ideas and stuff like that.
I wonder how much of that they can just take. Like, because you know how some companies have like a non-compete thing? I don't know how legal they are, but it's like, you can't for 3 years after you work for us do the same thing you were doing. What?
It's like, but that's all I've been working on for
That's
the
what I
last
do.
10 years. That's all I know. You tell me I can't go work for another flight sim creator?
Yeah, that's like if you quit Hak5 and I said that you can't work on another video podcast. Anyway, whatever. We actually have other content for this episode. In addition to the interview with Jim, I'm going to be explaining to you guys what this is. This is a Tamagotchi. I'm tying it in with Twitter. I got some PHP code for you guys. It's running with a VLC backend. You're going to love it.
Well, we were supposed to use it for ROFLcon.
But those bastages over at Rocket Boom never showed up with a projector, so...
Yeah, we pretty much called them and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, we're on our way back to Boston. There.
Oh well. So...
Oh well.
Anyway,
We had a good time
we still
anyway.
had a good time, yeah. Had a lot of fun. The highlight of the whole weekend, though, was NBC.
Yes.
Yeah. It's good to have friends that will take you to the studio.
Just got to give John...
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we spent pretty much the better part of
The weekend in Hoboken and at the 30 Rockefeller, like checking out SNL stage and Rachel Maddow's stage and like...
You and I got to sit in Conan O'Brien's chair
Oh my God. That
behind
was
his
amazing.
desk.
That's so cool.
That was
So,
so
Go
and
sit
to see his
on
little
stage.
star on the stage and be
it's
like,
called a mark.
I stand where Conan stands.
All right, so
It was pretty epic.
we
I'm
should
not gonna
probably
lie.
stop fanboying, but unfortunately, no pictures. Well, the only thing we got a
No.
little shot of some carpet, but
Yeah.
in,
I've got a
tradition, we've got a foot shot. So.
I've got a shot of how crazy their network ceilings are. It was
That's insane.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I've seen some data centers, and I don't know. Anyway, so Shannon, what's going on with LAN parties?
Our LAN party is coming up this week, actually, on Saturday. Saturday, January 31st, we're going to be playing Battlefield 2, and you can play with us over at bf2.hak5.org, so definitely join in the game. I gotta say, I'm pretty excited. And I hear you can get BF2 for pretty cheap these days, so if you don't have it yet, like me, sorry guys, then definitely go get it and play with us. And I also want to thank our sponsor. The HP Media Smart Server, powered by Microsoft Windows Home Server, allows you to easily and automatically back up your digital memories with multiple computers in your home, including Windows boxes and Macs using Apple's Time Machine. It's a centralized place for your digital life and for sharing media files like photos, videos, music, or anything really with friends and family. It's a great way to manage iTunes libraries across your network, and it'll even publish photo libraries to many online social media sites. So enjoy your digital media experiences with the HP Media Smart Server as your new entertainment hub. Access your stuff from anywhere with an internet connection, or extend your digital media experience by streaming to other PCs and your TV through consoles like the Xbox 360. And Darren, I think you got a little bit of a Tamagotchi going on over there. Some Tamagotchi gasuki desu ka?
Thanks, Shannon. Now, when we were approached by the whole ROFL thing, people, about coming up and doing the event, one of the things that they asked us to do was see if we could put together some sort of interactive media installation for the after party. And I thought, oh, dude, what would be better than like taking the technology of the USB missile launcher and putting paintballs in it? And then the lawyers really didn't think it was a good idea. So what we ended up with was harnessing the amazing power that is Twitter and finally using it for what it is intended to do, and that is to control a Tamagotchi. We all remember those lovable little digital pets. I'm really going to use this as an example to show you guys some code techniques that you can do. I'm particularly using PHP and VLC as my delivery mechanism, but I'm sure you guys might learn something. So let's get right into it. This is really where it all begins. I've got a video folder here full of all of these AVIs that I created just using Photoshop and a little bit of Sony Vegas action. And it's this cute little character here, and it can do different things, like you can dance, or I can make him sleep, stuff like that. So great, I got a Tamagotchi. Now how do I control him? So I wanted people to be able to tweet something and then have a program that would just like look for special tweets and then tell VLC, my presentation mechanism, to change the video clips. The coolest thing about VLC is that it has an HTTP interface in it that allows you to control what's being displayed over the web. So if I come down here and so the first part of this is this command right here. So I'm just going to start VLC, and I'm going to point it at this directory here where my videos are, and the TAC interface HTTP with the full screen, and then I want it to repeat each clip. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, right? And it fires up, and here's my little Tamagotchi guy, and he's just doing whatever the first video was. He's going to blink here, and that's video number 1, idle blink. If I head over to the HTTP interface at 127.0.0.1, it by default it's on port 8080, and it's a beautiful little interface here, but the problem is everything is in like JavaScript. It's all Web 2.0. It's beautiful, but I can't really easily interact with it from the command line. So what I want to do, and this is the greatest thing about VLC, is they kept the deprecated HTTP interface in the package. You go to /old, and we've got a different interface. This is the old interface, and what we see here is the playlist. See, I just specified a directory, so it's going to put everything, the AVIs, in this playlist. And if I hover over these, I can see down here in the bottom left that what it's really going to do if I click on this idle cry here is it's going to pass the parameter control equals play and item equals 6. Great. So I can do the same thing, and I think this is still playing. Yeah, it's still playing here. So I can pull up a command prompt here, and he's sitting there doing his thing. Let's find a video. Let's see. Let's tell him that he needs to fight. So that would be control equals play and item equals 11. So in my prompt here, I'm just going to use curl. And curl is just a command line program that'll allow you to do to hit up web pages and stuff. And it's similar to wget. I'll have links to more information about curl, but suffice it to say, we say curl with 127.0.0.1 because that's where a web server is on port 8080/old, and we're going to use the TACD option to say control equals play, and the TACD option with item equals 11, TACG, and whatever. .txt. Great. So it goes ahead and does that, and bam, our video changes. So now we've got a little, kind of like Ryu-inspired Tamagotchi action. So now the question is, how are we going to take this and extend it to the web? And this is where I start, my programming code gets a little bit nasty, but that's okay. Follow along and feel free to criticize me on the forums. But we're going to start abusing search.twitter.com. So let's come over here to search.twitter.com. I've gone ahead and created a query here for ROFLbot. That's what I'm naming the little damn creature. So I'm going to be just looking for tweets that involve the name ROFLbot. And if I just do that at search.twitter.com, I get this great little result. And I can also get a feed for this query. You can see Squeegee here has already been playing with it. So I've got this, well, Chrome renders it all nasty, but that's a beautiful little RSS feed otherwise. And I can pull that RSS feed using a beautiful little PHP class called magprss. And magprss is used in a lot of different open source applications, most notably WordPress, to handle all of its RSS features. So let me take a look at the code here. All we have to do to invoke magprss is make sure that we have the package directory in the root where our code is, and then do a require once here for the RSS fetch include. And then I do two other things down here that make this work, and that is to tell magprss not to cache anything. You see, if we were to cache stuff, then we really wouldn't get new results every time we pull the RSS feed, and well, then our Twitter Tamagotchi really wouldn't be doing much good, would it? So then I've got a little loop counter here that I use to do some idle stuff, and everything pretty much lives inside of this while here. This while loop is just going to do whatever I tell. It's going to do all of this stuff as until, of course, the title of the RSS, the parameter that I pass to Twitter, if you will, is #ROFLbot ** exit**. So that's like the kill command, right? So then down here, all I really have to do with magp is these couple of lines down here, which say, okay, this is the URL of what I want to query, and that's, like I showed you, the RSS feed from search.twitter. And then we're only looking for the first item. And this is the idle thing that I told you guys about. I've got a if here, if the loop count is over 30, to go ahead and randomly pick a new action for the guy to do. Because what I envisioned was this was going to be projected on the wall at the after party. And if somebody Twittered him and told him to eat, I didn't really want him just stuffing his face until, like, I don't know, the cows come home. So I said after 30, which would be about 5 minutes because I loop this with a 10-second sleep, then it would go here and just use RMD to this function RMD, and you give it two parameters and it picks randomly a number between those two, and then based on that I'll tell the Tamagotchi what to do. But really all the magic comes down here where I go through and I parse the RSS, and I'm just using a switch and a case here, the switch being $title. That is the variable for what I actually receive from Twitter, the RSS. It's in RSS, you've got your title, you've got description, you've got the published date and stuff like that. Really what we're interested is title. And we say, hey, case, if the case is ROFLbot dance, then I want you to pass this, use system to pass this curl. I'm going to say curl in the command prompt and tell it, control equals play and item equals 10. And I've gone ahead and made sure to correspond all of the different item numbers with all of the different actions that I want it to do. And I've got a couple of them. This is really down and dirty. I'm not even, if somebody uses different case, it's not going to really respond well with this. So if somebody had like an uppercase D in dance, I didn't bother going ahead and making it pretty, but I'm sure you guys could on the forums. And then we reset my loop counter because it's gone ahead and done its thing. And that's pretty much it. I have another case and a break for every action that he does. It's about a dozen little actions. And then at the end here, I just sleep for 10 seconds and I do it again. I increase the loop counter and that's it. That is basically, it's just a combination of videos, VLC with an HTTP interface, and PHP using the magprss, and then I'm just using the system command to tell curl to press the button over on the old VLC interface, and now we can interactively play with our Tamagotchi bot. I'll go ahead and start him up here again. Actually, I'd close the VLC interface, so what I have to do is come here to the min page and tell VLC to shut down. And that went ahead and happened, and I'm going to start him again. All right, so I'm going to pretend he's full screen for just a moment, and I'll bring up my Twitter, and I'm going to say ROFLbot, oops, too many L's, ROFLbot fail. I'm going to tweet that from my Oh My God Noob WTF account. If I go back here and my PHP, oops, I need to invoke my PHP, oops. All right, so I've got that running, and so anyway, to invoke the PHP, we just run PHP with the file rather than actually going to it like from a web page. We just invoke it from the command line, and this is what it looks like. It just sits here, and it says, oh, it found fail and 0, and it's going to wait 10 seconds, and then it's going to keep going and going until, you know, either somebody else tells it to do something different, or 5 minutes goes by and then it randomly selects something else to do. So there we go. We have a Tamagotchi that is failing just as epically as my code. So if you guys would like to check out the source code, it is up on the forums at hak5.org/forums. I welcome your criticism, and I hope you you know, picked up something from this. So you know, hit me up, give me some feedback. I'd love to hear what you guys think of my epic code. So now we are, I'm just gonna go ahead and kick it back over to Shannon, see what's going on at the LAN party before we talk to Jim.
All right, so last week's trivia was, during initial RDP key exchange, the server sends the client a certificate. Where is this certificate stored? And this was correctly answered by Beasley, who wrote in with the correct registry key. And we are going to send Beasley one of Dual Core's albums, a nerdcore album called Lost Reality. It's one of my favorite CDs, I love it, and if you want to check out Dual Core's music, you can go to dualcoremusic.com. And I would also like to say that if you want to enter into our trivia this week, you can just follow these little clues that you see around the episode, enter that into our trivia page, which is hak5.org/trivia, and if you get that right in the first 24 hours from when this episode posts, you may get a chance to get one of our very cool giveaways for next week. And last but not least, I would like to thank our sponsor, GoDaddy. Get reliable, secure web hosting without the long-term contract. GoDaddy's hosting plans are bigger and better than ever with 99% uptime, free 24/7 support, and no annual commitment. Plus, as a fan of Hak5, you can get your own .com domain for $7.49 when you check out using the code HAK3. Next up, I think we're going to be talking to Mr. J-Lo, but first we're going to be taking a break.
So you were just recently at a whole bunch of television conferences, right? What's the feel there?
Well, so these were a lot of guys from the cable world, like the old world, and they're trying to figure out what's going to happen to them as their businesses go away. So there are people from broadcast and cable, and life is tough for them because less and less people are watching. More and more ad dollars are moving over to the internet. And even though a lot of people still watch broadcast, a lot of people watch cable, it's less. And the less people watch, the less money they make.
So what's going to be their final doom?
Their final doom? I don't see them going away, completely all of them, but I think what we'll see is fewer of them and more choices. So the big cable nets are still going to be there. ESPN, always going to be an ESPN. Even if you have to pay $5 a month to stream it over the internet, they'll still be an ESPN. But some of the smaller marginal cable networks I would worry about. So, I mean, not to name any names, but I will, like the Wisdom Network or the Hallmark Channel.
But isn't that what this is all about, is that we can scratch these little niches? How is that any different on cable?
Well, on cable, you look at your expenses. You've got to get satellite transponders. You've got to shoot your signal up into the sky and back down. You got to pay big money to, DAG the bounty hunter or whoever they've got going on there. The internet, yes, your distribution costs are lower, and you can actually do smaller niches profitably. When I first started doing ZDTV, I would start going to these cable conferences. I used to go to tech conferences, and I was going to cable conferences. And this guy would always come up, and he was like, yeah, I would take the mic during Q&A of the sessions I was doing and start talking about the puppy channel. It's like, I'm doing the puppy channel, and I'm going to put that out on cable, and it's going to be all puppies all the time.
This was, of course, before YouTube.
Yeah, well, this was before, well, internet video was like a 160 by 160 postage stamp, 5 frames a second. So he couldn't be on the internet. But the puppy channel is an ideal thing for the internet because you can put it out, you can stream it, and people are going to watch. And, what's the number one thing that people are watching now on the homepage of Ustream? It's that stupid dog thing.
Yeah, those puppies that Matt's in love with, but I don't think he's going to get the money to buy them.
Yeah, well, and, you guys, you've got a cat in your basement, and you've got 50 people watching that.
It's something a little bit more elaborate than a basement. Thank you.
Well, it's, a cat house.
That's what we are now calling it, the cat house. The Hack House just didn't ring. So
it's all about branding. Even online video needs to brand.
All right. Well, you've been recently talking on your blog about the dirty little secrets in numbers. You want to share anything with me about that?
Yeah, well, So here's what happens. When you watch a television program on TV, or you've got Nielsen, and they will tell whether you watched it or not. Online, there's a group called the IAB, which is the Advertising Standard Board for websites and measurement and all that. And a view of a video online, you can count it according to the IAB if you watch it for 3 seconds. And here's what happens. Here's what people are doing. So on a website, you go to any website and a video auto plays, it's so annoying. All of a sudden it starts auto playing, and you may go because you want to find a recipe, or you want to find news, or you want to get some particular piece of hacking lore. But all of a sudden a little video is auto playing, and you don't even know where it is, and you got to search around for it, and maybe it's down below the fold. Well, by the time you find it and make the stupid thing shut up, more than 3 seconds have gone by, and that's a view. That's a video view. So there are people out there who are putting these videos out, and they're like, we get 5 million views a month, because they're auto-playing on a site that gets 5 million page views.
So, but who actually counts these? I mean, what are the sites that count 3 seconds as a view?
Everybody.
Like YouTube, Rever, Blip. Geez, there's so many of them now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all of them, because that's the IAB standard. Actually, I was talking to one site who will remain nameless, one of these sharing sites, and I was telling them about the 3-second rule, and they said, oh, I count a view when somebody clicks play. They don't even count it at 3 seconds. So the reason why I think this is a problem is because if you have a sponsor or an advertiser in there, and they happen to show up, in the latter part of the video, anywhere that's not in the first 3 seconds, you're claiming to them that somebody's seen their ad when they haven't. What that means is that I may go to you, let's say you're, I don't know, Samsung, and you've advertised on one of our shows, and you say, I want my message to be seen 1 million times. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And if it's just that 3 seconds and people don't see the message, the response is going to be terrible. They'll look at that and they'll say, gosh, this internet video stuff just isn't working because I'm not getting people coming to my website, I'm not selling anything, and I'm just not going to support internet video.
But we're not talking about direct downloads here. We're talking about the Flash player that's embedded in the website. Now, Flash is an amazing piece of technology because we get all sorts of interesting stats about when the drop-off was and all sorts of interesting things about people's playing habits. So don't we know if they tuned out in 3 seconds?
Yes, we do.
Yet we still count it as a view.
That's what the IAB says a view is, and they're the standard, the advertising board. So there's a lot of the upshot of it is, and it's not just the 3 second rule. There's a lot of funny business going on with internet views, and what we've found as we talk to various different people is that when we talk to people and they tell us what their views are, we generally cut it by about a factor of 4 or 5 to figure out what actually they're really getting.
Right, it's like multiplying her age by 1.5.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, to use an analogy. Anyway, so you've also been talking about reach and depth and what are these metrics? What's going on here?
So here's why people want those numbers to be so high, because advertisers typically buy ads based on something called reach and frequency. So reach means how many people see my message. So, and frequency is how often do they see that message. That's why if you watch football or sports, you've seen probably more Coors Light commercials than you ever want to see in your life, because they want to reach all the football fans and they want to have that message ingrained in their head over and over again. The trouble with internet video is because the numbers are not as high as people are claiming, it isn't as big as traditional television. It doesn't have that reach. Now, if you have a core group, 100,000 viewers or somewhere around there, you can certainly hit them with frequency over and over again. But if you can't hit 1 million, 2 million, 10 million people, that's what the advertisers traditionally want. So that's why some of this funny number business, I think, is happening. But what we found is that when it comes to internet video, there's a third dimension. So you remember your old high school mathematics where you have the x-axis and the y-axis. There's a z-axis, which is depth of experience. Now, when you look at a banner on the web, you're not getting any depth of experience at all. It's going in one eyeball and out the other. When you see a 30-second ad on television, typically you see it, but it may, if it's funny, it'll make you laugh, but it's not going to make a huge, you can't do that much in 15 or 30 seconds. I mean, but with internet video, and you know this, when you do have a sponsorship, your fans love you guys. They watch, you guys are...
Well, let's not go too far, okay? Some of them do.
Okay, well, they trust you, and they believe in you, and they enjoy watching and spending time with you guys. So when you guys, or any of the internet video programs that we do sponsorships, there's a depth of experience where they trust you. And even though it's really clear that it's a sponsorship, and yes, there's a quid pro quo, these guys are paying so that we can put these shows on the air, that time spent with those products or services, whether it's GoDaddy or Budweiser or whatever it is much deeper. And there's a factor that because you guys are talking about it, the audience is more likely to wake up and be like, well, I'll pay attention to that at least. I may not ever buy a Zune, but at least I'll hear them out. And that's
so what are some of the factors that you'd use to measure depth?
A couple of different things. I mean, it's hard to measure. But how long is the spot? How much do they talk about the product? But also, you can look at mentions on Twitter or Facebook or other social nets to see if a conversation is starting and if it's continuing. So we do this a lot of times where we'll look at a brand and the show. So and then we'll just track conversations online to see if that conversation needle was moved. And most of the times it was. So whatever it is, we know that when people are watching it on Hak5 or Dignation or Techzilla or whatever, they are then talking about their experiences with the brand and sharing it with their friends online.
So now the question in everybody's mind: when is the Jim Louderback show coming?
Well, it's kind of hard to run a company, and I'm spending a lot of time.
Come on, deals for the win. When are we going to see?
I don't know. We'll see about that. But I did just get this. So this is it's actually going to come all the time because this is a new HD flip camera that I got. I bought it myself.
So this is by Flip?
No, it's Kodak. It's a Kodak, and it's HD, and it's got the little. Wait a minute. It's got the little pop-out USB. And I'm still playing around with it. Like, you don't want to do this and shake it around because it's HD. But so I figure I'm just going to do it anytime. So this is it. This is the beginning of the
a little MySpace shot action going on.
More like YouTube. I don't really do that MySpace stuff.
Okay, so are you going to start live streaming?
Yeah, I'm going to be streaming my life in HD. I'm going to get a little iJustine thing, and I'm going to stop it right here.
I think you would look great with a camera mounted to your forehead. All right, so Jim's got his headgear on.
I am ready to livecast my life.
Great. Now you're going to go livecast you buying me a drink, right?
Yeah, and I'll be able to use this as a record so I can expense it.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
All right, guys, so that about wraps it up for this episode of Hak5. But we do have a viewer question for you, and we also have some information about the next convention that we're going to. But first of all, I want to thank our sponsor, Netflix. With Netflix, you can rent over 90,000 titles online, including lots of Blu-ray titles, with free shipping both ways to your home. They now have over 40 shipping centers, so almost all deliveries happen in just one business day. Netflix plans start at $4.99, and as a new member, you can get a no-risk 2-week free trial membership. You can get that at www.netflix.com/Hak5, and please, don't forget the www. And our question, Andrew writes to feedback@hak5.org if you want to ask questions as well. Is there a way to change the IP address of the Windows command line? Boys?
I think Andrew's wanted to know if we can change the IP address of Windows from the command line, kind of similar to the way we do it over on Linux with like ifconfig and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are familiar with using ipconfigs to do your release and renew if you're doing DHCP, but you can actually specify an IP address from the command line using netsh. So I've got links in the show notes to the exact commands and whatnot, but netsh is a great little utility. You can specify your IP address. You can even configure your firewall. So this is a great little tool that if you're doing systems administration, you want to roll out some doohickeys, get your scripting on, netsh is the way to do it. Thank you for the question, Andrew.
That would be pretty epic.
What?
To go through like a re-IP of your entire network and create some script that will auto-increment.
And then, no. I need to do this. I just realized, because I'm on a 192, I need to move my company over to a 172 or a 10 something.
Right.
And I could just put a batch script that would say, at the stroke of midnight on this date, bam. And then I've got everything already mapped, so I don't have to go from, wow. Mid-show.
But how's that going to work? Because I
tell the batch script to check, the date and run it, or I schedule it with @.
But how are you going to specify multiple computers?
I'll roll it out to all the computers beforehand. It's just a scheduled task. You type @ whatever time space, this thing, and then you run this batch file that'll change the it's set to static.
But you're specifying an IP in the script.
Yeah.
And you're rolling it out to multiple computers. Now, can you force an update? Well, you can do that anyway.
Anyway, that's half of it's done.
Half of it's done. All right, so Yeah, that just blew my mind.
All right. Missed show brainstorming. Anyway, I got to thank you guys for downloading. Not just that, I want to remind you guys that we have subscription links so that you can get your Techno List automatically delivered to you all the time. I know that a lot of you guys are using, it's actually 55% of you guys are using iTunes, 20% of which are on Macs. And oh, check it out, Zune with the 6%. You know, Linux users that aren't just Ubuntu users. Let me tell you, there's Gen 2 up in this house. Slackware 2, got to represent.
Touche.
It was my first one. It was like 3.5-inch floppies back in like the 90s. It was awesome. So don't want to leave you guys out. If you want Techno List delivered to you, go ahead and subscribe. We've got links on hak5.org, especially where you can get the new HD feed. So check that out. Also, keep your constructive criticism going because, you know, we like to play with this show. We like to tweak things, and we like to hear what you guys think. So we've been hearing a lot of good stuff lately.
The last couple episodes have been absolutely phenomenal. We want to thank you guys for all the stuff that you've been saying.
Yeah.
You know,
Lynn's got some great ideas about what we should do with the cooking.
Yeah,
it was good
cooking
stuff.
And the walls. The walls will be getting a little bit spruced up. You know, we kind of had time to throw it together.
It's a crazy time for us, man. We had conference after conference after conference. As soon as we're done with ShmooCon, I think things are finally going to, like, you know, change around here. And yeah. Anyway.
Speaking of ShmooCon.
Yes, so we will be at ShmooCon, February 6th through the 8th. We will be in DC at the Marriott Wardman, and as always, the annual Podcasters Meetup is going on, so you can get all the details over at podcastersmeetup.com. We invite you to come out and meet us. It's totally open for everybody, so if you don't have a ticket to ShmooCon, but you are in the area, want to come and meet up, it's going to be us as well as paul.com, and SecureBits, Bloodcast, Cyberspeak, Security Justice, so many more, so come out and check out the podcasters. We'd love to meet you guys.
Yeah, we had a great time last year, and definitely looking forward to doing it again.
Yeah, Movix has it sponsored by like HP.
Yeah, it's actually for those of you that don't know, it's actually Rob Movix over at room362.com who actually puts it on, and we can't thank him enough.
Yeah, and these guys.
Yes.
Yes.
Them too.
We've got new designs. So you can go ahead and check them out at hak5.org/stickers. We're coming out with new packages all the time, and we definitely appreciate all of your support because it helps us do all the con stuff and. You know, still need that Mac Pro, but we're working on it, and we're making HD happen. Either anybody want to flip a coin, whether it's going to be Premiere or Final Cut Pro, because as of recording right now, who knows?
Yeah, I'm not exactly
Vegas
sure.
isn't happening.
Maybe
Vegas is choking on this HD.
Well, yeah, we'll figure that out. But it will. This episode is HD, so obviously we figured it out one way or another.
What we've got working is duct tape and string.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Shannon, let's wrap this up.
Well, first of all, I gotta give it up and give a little bit of Techno Less lovin' to the Dig Reel. It's the show that features the funniest viral videos on the web. This week, host Andrew Bancroft is on vacation, but we've got a couple of guest co-hosts that you might know. Martin Sargent and Kevin Rose are filling it. Catch what they think about some of the top dug videos of the week. The Dig Reel is served up weekly on Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern. Guys, as usual, we're reminding you to trust your Techno List. See ya!
Seriously, how many chances will I get to ride a Ferris wheel that involves My Little Ponies?
Squeegee rode in a limo with us back to Hoboken.
Yes, Squeegee did.
And then we ditched him after we got pizza.
Hang on, why did we not get a picture of Squeegee with us in a limo?
I know. Well, we were pretty drunk already.
In New York, I mean. Okay, so we're here hacking in Hoboken, and I just thought I'd give you a quick little tip. It turns out if you leave your laptop overnight doing some packet injection and doing a little bit of air dump, you just want to make sure that maybe you have like an external hard drive, like a 500 gig or something like that. Because it turns out after about 13 million packets, I'm getting a cute little error here called fwrite packet data failed. No space left on device. So just a tip to you guys.